Hi. Welcome into a very special edition of the pre-show before the free show. I'm Greg Tepper. Normally the first voice you hear on a show like this would be that of our producer, Ashley Pickle. But Ashley Pickle is busy fixing cameras? Is that what we're gonna settle on? Fixing cameras. We're going to see if we can get cameras working. Did we get cameras working? And let's see if we got the cameras working. Hi, Pickle.
Hi. So we, howdy, welcome on into the pre-show before the first show. So I guess we can go ahead and announce this because I don't know if we really have or not. So let's do big announcement on the pre-show before the pre-show.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, why not? So we're doing an episode of Texas football tonight.
What?
Tonight? But it's different. Because as you know, there are very few games happening. And so it's hard for us to try and dive into like 6 or 7 games. So instead, we decided what we're going to do is we have the massive DFW matchup of Cedar Hill and DeSoto happening at 7 o'clock p.m. this evening on TexanLive.com. So we are going to do a hour-long pregame, halftime, and postgame show for the game. The reason I'm telling you all of this mess is that meant yesterday we had a lot of technical things to figure out.
Here we go. Oh, okay. We're pulling into the excuse station.
Yes, correct. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo indeed.
Anyway, we unplugged those cameras and then didn't replug them back in, and then we were talking and I didn't do it. So there's all that. The second surprise of the day.
Hello. Carter Yates in the house.
Wah, 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 wah.
It's Braylon. It's Carter Yates, our college football writer here, joining us for a very special edition of Texas Football Today. And it's very special because you're here.
Yes.
Like that's how
I appreciate that.
that's how it works. Like there's nothing particularly special about today's episode. We're just gonna answer some questions from the people. So get your questions in on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll answer as many we can until 12:30. But
I got the call from the bullpen about 15 minutes ago, and then
About
Pickle,
15 minutes
I got
ago.
I got on the big oversized phone as we look at some beautiful.
and then Pickle decided to sabotage the camera to delay my intro.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
That was actually, like, I went through that whole spiel just to say I actually just didn't want the people to have to look at Carter.
Yeah, I mean, who could possibly want to look at this? Did you say earlier today that you got to pump in before the show?
No, I did pop top. I had a jacket on for the show. I didn't actually get a pump in. No. I wish, though.
Yeah.
I wish I had a little. If you'd warned me last
know.
night, I would have lifted this morning.
You would have gotten up at 4:30 in the morning.
and maybe gelled my hair.
Yeah,
too.
it was 4:30 in the morning. Who would gel their hair? Name one person. This is so get your questions in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We are doing it live today because you people just won't stop complaining. You can't let us live. These people can't let us
Matt
live.
Stepp is very excited that Braylon's on the show.
Yeah, I mean Braylon's a draw. You know what I mean? You're a big free agent signing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Who are we waving at?
Ashley.
Oh, hi Ashley. Oh, Rebel's wife. Hi.
I've never met her.
You've never met Rebel's wife?
No.
You've worked here for
Not that long.
I
Since
guess.
April.
Since April.
March.
You've
We
worked here
haven't
for
done
8
like
months.
we haven't done like a any. I don't even think since I've been here that we've done something that's been like spouses are invited. No, we had the barbecue at your place.
We had the barbecue
in, like,
at my place. That was 2021.
Yeah.
Which I was
So-
not invited to.
Well,
even though
yeah.
I was an intern here.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
well,
Interns are not invited to the barbecue.
Yeah, ball to ball. Yeah, suck. Although you will get Bob's dinner, your inaugural Bob's dinner next year. next
I'm
week.
excited for it.
It's-
Yes.
Yeah,
It's been
we-
hyped up to me.
We talked about it in the car yesterday on the way to the game, and Carter just goes, "Yeah, baby's first, Bob's," which rocks.
It is. It's a fun time of year. It's also like I did a radio interview yesterday. I went down and was on the ticket here, and like
Oh, nice.
and before we came on the air, Donovan, the great Donovan and Woo, it was like, man, I bet this is a busy, crazy time of year for you. And it's like, it is. Like, to be clear, it is. This is a crazy time of year. But it's also just like, it's a fun time of year.
It's very enjoyable
It's
chaos.
very fun. This feels like a reward. And then also, I know that while I'm going to be very busy and stressed and probably not sleep as much, in 4 weeks, I'm going to be sad.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because then it's like, oh, I got to do realignment and signing day and you know,
Exactly.
all that fun stuff. Nothing's as fun as football.
Would you like to schedule soccer games?
Whew.
Wrestling?
That's a tough ask.
Boy, you know what? Great. You know, I love your energy.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say no, though.
Okay,
But
well.
thank you.
Well, if you ever want to, just come by my desk. I've got plenty of it for you.
Now, we got 4 weeks left of football, but it's the best 4 weeks.
Correct.
So we got to enjoy it.
Braylon gets it. Hit the theme, Expo. Pickle! Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It's Texas Football Today, a show that came into work on Friday. You jerks.
Yeah.
We're leaving right after it, though. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the
I'm
managing
going
editor.
on strike.
I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She's the Prime Minister of Thanksgiving, the Duchess of the Dorks. She's Ashley Pickle.
Howdy, friends. Happy Friday.
Happy
Friday. I haven't been able to say that like genuinely in a
I
long
know.
time.
It's been a minute. I mean, you have, just on tape.
Correct.
And
It's been on Thursday.
Sitting to my right, college football writer for Dave
Bray.
Campbell's Texas Football. They call him Braylon, but his mom calls him Carter Yates.
which they call me Braylon, but it was just kind of crafted out of thin air.
It was.
A little bit.
For those who
And
don't
then it
know,
stuck.
to catch up, Braylon is there's no other way to say it. Braylon is Carter's douchebag alter ego. BREIGH apostrophe capital LYNN. Braylon. Sadu.
Basically, I got stereotyped as a white frat guy who was a former second-team all-district quarterback, which is not true. I was never all-district. And I talked to Rebel about this, and I was like, I've never seen a white guy named Braylon, ever. So I'll roll with the name, but I don't know how accurate this is.
Yeah.
And Rob agreed with me, too, by the way.
Yeah, but you know what? It feels right.
That's okay. That's all that counts.
It hits right.
We're exclusively on vibes here, around here. Today is Friday, December 1st, 2023, 363 days Thanksgiving. I have to do it early. Normally we'll do birthdays late, but this one's important. Happy 5th birthday to Hank Tepper.
Happy birthday.
Hank turns 5 on Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Birthday party tomorrow.
You scared me for a second. I had to look at the calendar. I was like, it's not Hank's birthday.
Joint birthday party with Max on tomorrow.
Nice.
At like kind of like the kids' gym thing, so we're like big foam pit they're gonna jump into. Let me tell you, the maybe I've just missed out on it, but the kids' gym scene right now is popping.
How so?
It's just there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they've made them so that, especially as a parent, you can just kind of let them run free because they can't really hurt themselves.
And
they could try.
They've also done it really well of like helping with like fine motor skills.
Oh yeah.
Like
they've been able to.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, they have like Max, who is going to turn 2 on Tuesday. Max did like a zip line.
Yeah.
It's like, this rocks.
Yeah.
The entire thing's just made out of memory foam.
It is.
So.
Yes.
It's a whole room made out of memory foam with different things. But anyway, happy birthday to Hank. Hank turns
Happy
5
birthday,
on
Hank.
Sunday. It's episode 1703. On today's show, folks, it's Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. We're answering your questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, anything you got. Get them in the comments, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll answer as many as you can. We have a hard out at 12:30, at which point we'll announce the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week for the final time this year. We won't do it again until August, so think about that. Do we have first 4 through the door?
We sure do. It was Joey Hill, Ed McElroy, Aaron Arbuckle, and Coach Terry Crawford. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate your time. All right. It's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
I'm trying to fix the
no.
graphic. The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score on award-winning Hondas like the rugged and reliable 2024 Honda Ridgeline. Visit your Helpful Honda dealers today or ntxhondadealers.com to learn more.
So get your questions in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We have a hard out at 12:30. It's 25 minutes from now. So we will get into as many questions as we can. If you got questions about whatever. But first, let's while you're getting your questions in, let's recap last night. Because you guys went on a little roadie.
We did.
A little roadie. What car did you take?
Swag wagon.
And you guys went out to, where was the game?
Midlothian.
And caught up with Toller and Marlin, and I'm interested in your thoughts.
Well, start off with what we kicked the trip off with, which was a Carter Yates and Mallory Hartley found establishment that rules.
Yeah, we paid a visit to my uncle Tio Tony's in Midlothian, which is a very good Mexican restaurant, and me and Mallory found this for a Midlothian Heritage game, I think in early October. And we went back and, again, did not disappoint. So if you're in the Midlothian area.
Oh, my God, it was good.
Very good.
Like, Ish and I were like, this is a high bar because they'd really hyped it up, and it was fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Pickle left her carne asada leftovers in the swag wagon for after the game. So when we got back in the car, it was the 6-year swag wagon smell mixed with Tio Tony's carne asada.
Oh, wow.
Which was
a
fantastic.
Vibe. It was great. It helped the
good
the
for you
smell
guys.
of the thing. But no, the game itself was really entertaining for the first 3/4 of it, and then they kind of pulled away.
Toller did.
Yes, Toller pulled away. Ended up beating Marlin 43-19. Man, Peyton Brown is a man amongst boys out there. He looked great. So did you talked with the quarterback from Toller, who also looked fantastic.
The thing about Toller is them boys are thick. They have a quarterback who was an all-state linebacker last year in Isaac Blessing. He is 6'2", 190 pounds he's listed at. I don't think that's accurate. He looked bigger than that to me.
It said 205 on the roster that they gave
plays
me.
big.
Also, I'm looking at our preview of Peyton Brown, who was 6'2", 220 on here. He was all of 6'3", 235. He looked like he had 3 kids and a mortgage.
He's a big boy.
And you could tell by the end of the game, Marlin just did not want to tackle that guy whatsoever.
They couldn't. There was one run in the fourth quarter that he had, and it was like they looked at it almost scared when he was just, I mean, a blood drain going down the sideline.
So they're one of those teams that gets stronger as the game goes on. It was 14-6, I think, going into halftime, and then the second half was not much of a game. Tuller's a power run team. They do shotgun. They'll throw 20% of the time, and when they do, Blessing has a good arm. He made a few pop plays, but they want to run it down your throat, and by the end, it just breaks the team's will.
Isaac Blessing is he's a man after your own heart of like quarterback of a run heavy team. You know what I mean? You're like, yeah, man, yeah, let's
That's
what
what it's all about.
Those are the mark of true stars. The other games last night, there were 2 others. Albany hammered Collinsville.
Yeah, that was
very impressive.
That was very impressive.
I picked Albany, but not like that. I thought Collinsville was going to be able to hang around. And I thought, and Matt Stepp, I think, understandably picked Collinsville to pull the upset. But Albany's defense, let me tell you, that defense.
They're legit.
They are
Which I thought
legit.
because Collinsville's not super small up front. So I was like, this will be a really good test to see just how well that Albany defense can handle it. And they were throwing them around.
Here's the thing, because I watched some of this game on the NFHS network as much as I could. But this was a tackling clinic. Like they did not miss tackles. I don't think they missed a single tackle, and it was really impressive to watch. But then, of course, there was one other result last night, which got everybody talking, which is, what was the final? It was Ganado
38.
41.
Oh, jeez, it got even worse.
Refugio 12.
A lot to a little.
A lot, and Refugio not very many. And it wasn't that close. This game was 14-0 in halftime. And then Ganado, they traded scores in the third quarter. And then Ganado in the fourth quarter just pulled away from them. And just like their defense was unbelievable. What makes this so shocking is not that Ganado is a bad team. They're obviously pretty good. And it's not that Refugio's invincible. Obviously they're not. They had a loss coming into the game as well to Hitchcock. But 27 days ago, Refugio beat Ganado by 23 points. Like 23 points. That is let me see if I can do this real quick. And they beat him by 29. That's a 52-point reversal.
So I didn't
in 27 days.
I didn't have time to go back and watch any of this one. What happened?
So essentially, first of all, give Ganado a ton of credit. Ganado's defense, especially, were exceptional in this game. They were pressuring Keelan Brown. They were tackling in space, and they were matching up front and not allowing Refugio to get those big burst running plays where they're so dangerous.
Yeah.
The other side of it is that they pounded the ball, and they ran the ball really effectively, and then they hit a couple big throws over the top. But they essentially just kind of mashed them. It was really impressive to watch.
They figured out the keys to stopping Ernest Campbell then.
They did.
If they didn't have any explosive plays.
They strung him out. They strung him out, and like he was not able to get north-south. He was doing a lot of lateral running, and he was not able to put his foot in the ground. It was really impressive, and I thought Ganado's defense showed out last night. 41-12. That's the big stunner. So they are through to the state semifinal. They will await the winner of tonight's Timpson and Garrison game. So those were the 3 games last night. Okay, let's get to some questions. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, the first one I can answer super quick. What is Mallory's Michigan State connection? Her dad went there, and he brainwashed her at a very young age.
Yeah.
So there's actually a really cute video of her like 3 months old, and he's talking to her about picking Michigan State to win her bracket.
Right.
So very cute video, but that's it.
It's kind of like my dad went to Illinois, so I have fond feelings for Illinois.
Yeah.
And my mom went to Texas State, so I have she went to Southwest Texas, I should say.
Yes.
So
She was a dancer.
She was
The bell.
a strutter.
Strutter.
A strutter.
That
Yes,
rocks.
she
But
was.
anyway, yeah. Todd Hartley went to Michigan State.
Shout out
so
Todd.
Go green. All right. What makes Holly favored over Stratford?
Well, first of all, I think it's in the eye of the beholder. I think
Yes.
if you want to pick Stratford, I think you're well within your rights. When I look at Hawley, I think that their individual playmakers that they've got, specifically Chandler Myers and Deontay Ramon, are going to be impressive. The other thing is that you want to talk about a team that is playing its best defense right now. The past 2 weeks against Panhandle and Sonora, two outstanding offenses, to hold them to a combined 24 points is really impressive. I think the Hawley defense is doing that thing where they're just peaking at the right time. I picked Hawley. The other thing about that is I give them a champion's advantage. Like, plain and simple. A lot of these guys have played in a title game. Many of these guys have played in 2 title games, right?
Moment won't be too big for him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess Stratford was, 2019? So they would
2021.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
2021.
So it was, yeah.
some
I mean,
of those guys have played in the title game, possibly. Sophomores being moved up, but it's a two-way team,
exactly
so it's
right.
not out of
yeah,
the realm.
It's possible. I would just say that, especially coming off of
Yes.
last year, being a reigning state champion
And winning a state
in
championship.
a close game, which I figure this game is going to be close. The computer has it as a 1-point game. I give the edge to the team with the more recent playoff pedigree and the team that's got the defense peaking at the right time, which to me is Hawley. That's my opinion. And I think they also have the individual playmakers. Now, I like the Stratford team a lot. They've got that. Oh, what's that quarterback's name?
Bryce Braden.
That dude rocks.
What a name.
He's the quarterback linebacker combo platter. Like, he's a moose out there.
See, and that's
he's a lot of fun.
We talked about this game last night because the winner of that game will play the game that we were at. And Mallory asked me, she's like, "Who do you think would win that game?" And I said, "I think it's Stratford. I think
you think Stratford's going to beat Hawley?
Yeah.
I do not think you're crazy. I think you're well within your rights to take Stratford.
I think their defense has been playing well.
Their defense has been playing well. I'm leaning towards the team with the playoff pedigree. That's mine.
I would like to see 2 absolute hosses at quarterback in Bryce Braden and Isaac Blessing.
That'd be
Yes.
fun. You want to talk about just like a sledgehammer
And
fight.
that might have been what swayed my opinion last night, but I think a Toller Stratford matchup would
be fun as heck.
bangers.
That'd be fun.
Bangers
That'd be fun.
in the state semifinal.
What's next, Pickle?
Let's go with, in your opinion, are there too many 11-man state champions crowned in Texas high school football? Should there be more or less?
No. I think this is the right number.
Yes.
I think that right now you have a champion for about let's break down the numbers.
There's 12.
Well, there definitely shouldn't be more.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. We can talk about rejiggering things, but I think that the number of 12 state champions in the UIL ranks, I think, is correct. But let's put it this way. I've got the numbers here. There are 1,243 UIL teams this year. 1,243. So that means you have a champion for every 103 teams, right?
That seems like a great number.
Feels like it's okay to me. I think right around 1 out of every 100. I mean, like, we crown a champion in the NFL is 1 out of 32, right? The college football is 1 out of every, like, FBS college football is 1 out of every 133. So it's relatively in line with that too.
What I would say is I'm not as familiar with 1A through 3A, but I know once you get up to 5A, 6A, the variance between D1 and D2 is stark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like 6A, the very top end, you get the Allens, you get the Duncanvilles. They're up around 6,000 kids. You need to demarcate that at some point to make it a little more fair.
And that's the talk. That's the talk about bringing in a 7A or bringing in or like rejiggering the way we do things. Is that you don't really have? There's no cap, and because there's no cap, because there's no cap at the top, that you do have a team like Allen. Who's going to, like, Allen plays North Crowley this year, or this week, right? Mm-hmm. Now, North Crowley's favored, to be clear, so enrollment's not everything, but North Crowley has an enrollment of 2,841. So they have an enrollment of less than half of Allen's, right? They're less than half the size of Allen. So I understand that point. I would just say that as far as the numbers are concerned, this is all one of the things that I've realized, because I used to be in the camp of we need to remake the playoffs, we need to do this differently. And what I realized in digging into it, and talking with people in the UIL and talking with smart people around Texas high school football, is that for every problem you solve, another problem crops up. Mm-hmm. Like if you do 7A, right? 7A sounds great because it's going to be a super league. You're going to have the giant teams in there. Any team over 3,000 is going to go to the super league. The problem is travel, because that means Midland Legacy and Odessa Permian are going to be there and nobody else in the west side of the state. right? So that's the issue you have to find balances for. So the question overall is, I think we've got the right number. One out of every 100 teams winning a championship feels about right.
Well, and I think back to, when I was in high school, obviously we just talked about like the bigger schools being disparity. There's even more disparity down in those lower classifications. Like when I was playing in Atlanta, we were in the same district as Liberty Hill. We didn't even have 500 kids in our school.
So
and we're in a small little rural town playing a thing right outside of Austin that has almost 1,000 kids. It was impossible.
Well, and here's an example, like Blanco. Blanco, for example, has an enrollment of 365. Okay, the largest school in that district is a behemoth in Llano, which has 505. So this is a Llano program.
Hey, they finally passed 500.
That is
Woo!
That is beating up on the little guy. And we need to talk about it.
Oh,
we
my
talk
God.
about them beating up on the little guy.
I'm pretty sure Blanco beat us this year.
They did. They won the district. So, yeah.
Well, in terms of changing
they're
it,
still alive, too, by the way.
in terms of changing it, if you're right, you're wrong. If you're wrong, you're screwed.
Exactly
That's how
right.
it goes.
Yeah. So I think they have found something, and that's why, by the way, if you're wondering why the UIL moves so slowly, quote unquote, with these policy changes, is because they have to be super diligent.
And it's not just about football, too. I know that they have now broken off football, so that helps, but there's still a lot of travel difference there. And you can, heck, compare it to college football. You look at it, and now with like super whatever, like removing it that way, now UCLA's volleyball team is going to have to go on a Tuesday night to play Maryland. You know, it's like whenever you move that stuff, there's so many other dominoes that do fall.
All right. What's next?
Let's go with, would you rather go on a cruise or hop on a plane to go to a destination?
Oh, my gosh. That's easy.
What's your answer?
Plane.
Me too.
110%.
Cruises terrify me.
I ain't getting on a cruise again. I've been on a cruise.
How was it?
They're fine.
They're fine.
You have to time it right. Like 3 to 5 days is okay. If you ever do a 7-day cruise, you are a lunatic.
To me, if you're going to, if the point of the trip is the destination, then just get there as quickly as possible. Give me a bullet train. You know what I mean?
I would put cruises up there with getting buried alive as my
my.
Like, imagine you're on the cruise and you hear about people get sick on the cruise and you're in the Caribbean and you're screwed.
There's nowhere to go. I agree. I'm with you. What's next, Pickle?
And this is an interesting question. Who is the new front runner in 2AD1? Refugio's loss kind of messed everything up. I'm going to be honest. I think that there's a certain set of the population that would say Refugio was never the favorite in 2AD1. It was not me. I chose Refugio to go to the state championship, so I am not in that population. But I think there's a ton of people that would say that Timpson was the favorite all along.
I would say this, is that I think Timpson becomes the favorite.
By a greater margin now.
Hawley is the defending champs, and we need to recognize that. And Toller's through. I think those three. And by the way, Ganado has a great argument. I like to me, if you want to, I think right now, sports gun to my head, Timpson's your favorite. My opinion, sports gun. That said, I think that's pretty narrow. And Timpson could get beat tonight by Garrison. Absolutely. That was a 9-point game last time. And Garrison, we saw what happened last night. Like, it's hard to beat a good team twice. I think Timpson's your favorite. But I think everyone's gonna. I think this is a free for all now, and I think that we were kind of. It's easy to look at this and be like, oh, we were kind of careening towards Timpson Refugio title semifinal. We were all excited about that. Obviously, we're gonna get maybe Timpson Ganado, but maybe we get Garrison Ganado, and then it's all cattywampus.
What I'd say that I've been to a Timpson practice before, and they are Terry Bussey's electric. J.J. Garner has really stepped up for them. They are very fast. They are not very big.
Yeah.
The linemen and the skill guys, there's not a lot of variance between those guys. Like, I watched Toller last night, and Peyton Brown, that running back, is bigger than anybody on Timpson's football team. So it's like, hypothetically, if Timpson and Toller played each other, I don't know if Toller catches Timpson. But if they do.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah, what happens then? Here's the other thing, and I'll reiterate this next week in our semifinal previews and stuff like that. Region 4 has absolutely dominated Region 3 over the last decade. Absolutely. I think they've won 10 straight over Region 3 in the semifinals.
Yes.
So
it was either Shiner or Refugio every time.
Or Mason. Timpson would have to break history. That's something to think about. So anyway, and I'm a big historical guy. What's next, Pickle?
I had a point to make there, and it just
into the ether. Goodbye.
All right, let's go with thoughts on Corpus Christi Miller versus Brownsville Vets.
Are they playing
the year?
I thought they were maybe just going to
5A
cancel that
G1
game.
Region 4 has a legit opportunity to play for a state championship.
I think yes. I think Region 3, the winner of Smithson Valley and A&M Consolidated, is probably going to enter the semifinal as the favorite.
Yes.
In my opinion.
But then again, Brownsville Vets has entered every single game as the underdog.
I picked Miller.
Yeah.
I picked Miller. I think that their offense is hitting on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's going to be the difference. Now, I have concerns about their defense.
Yes.
Brownsville Vets can lean on you a little bit. I think that's a coin flippy type game. I like Miller, even though they have to. But another thing is they have to go to Brownsville. That game's in Brownsville. It's at Sam Stadium. It's going to be a nut house down there tonight. So I like Miller in a close one. I think that their team speed is the difference. But
That's also a lot of travel for Miller.
It's a lot. Oh yeah, Brownsville.
Don't sleep on the amount of travel that is.
Brownsville's a long trip. So I'm leaning towards Miller. Brownsville Vets, if their defense continues to play, like they forced 8 turnovers last week against PSGA North. 8. If they do that, here's a hot take. If they force 8 turnovers tonight, they will play in a state semifinal. In fact, they will.
On record?
Here's another one. I'll say it again. If they force 8 turnovers in every game they play, they'll win the state championship. How's that?
I like that a lot.
There you go. I think they need to be in the plus category in the turnover margin. If they do that, then they're in business. But I do like Miller. I think their team speed's the difference. What's next, Pickle?
What do you like in a game like Stephenville and Anna? Everything,
Jeez,
all of it, literally
it's
the
just
whole thing.
Weird football, like it's strength on strength,
but strength in very different ways.
It's Anna's offense, which has been with Ziondre Williams and Jacob Emmers.
Yeah, who he was the one that had the catch to keep them alive last week.
Yeah, their offense, which has been exceptional.
Against a Stephenville defensive line that'll hit you in the mouth.
Against a Stephenville defense, it's just been elite. Plain and simple. Let's call it what it is. It's been elite. It's been very good. The other side's really interesting. Matt Stepp said this on our podcast, and the more it's been lodged in my frontal cortex all week, and I can't stop thinking about it. He goes, I think Stephenville's offense is broken. And, like, there's a real – they've scored 27 points the past 2 weeks.
Well, Stephenville quarterback Ryan Gafford, when I saw him, is playing with a Terminator arm on his left arm.
I think that's it. And by broken, I don't mean, like, schematically. I mean broken is, like, injuries and just, like – they don't have like Tate Marufska has not been up to. He only carried the ball 3 times last week. He's been injured. I don't know. I need to see the Stephenville offense get back on track before I'm willing to believe in them. And I think like Stephenville people have gotten all over me. It's like, you keep picking against Stephenville. I'm like, yeah, like they keep winning. They won 7-3 last week.
That's
like,
so awesome.
They won a game from 1954 last week. I don't know. I like Anna. I think if they get to like 28 points, I'm just not sure if Stephenville can keep up. Plain and simple. So I don't know. That's what I'm watching for. The big money matchup, the main event here is when Anna has the football. That's main event stuff. It's really fun, and Stephenville's defense has been excellent. They're going to need to stand on their head, I think, tonight if they're going to get through the regional state semifinal.
I think this might be the most pressure from a defensive line that Anna will have faced.
Oh yeah,
by
probably since Salina.
Salina's big, but I think that the Stephenville defensive line is better. We saw him in person; they were impressive.
They had Cash McCollum running for his life.
He did. Yeah.
He could not get a pass off to save his life.
All right, let's do some lightning round.
Let's go with possibility of Sauk versus P&G rematch in 5AD2.
Yeah, P&G
good.
looks like the favorite on that right side of the bracket. I think they're favorites tonight against Huntsville, and they'll be favored over whoever comes out of Region 2.
They look good against Montgomery
whether it's
Lake
against
Creek.
Liberty Hill or it's San Antonio Piper. South Oak Cliff's got a huge challenge tonight against Lovejoy. Tomorrow against Lovejoy. If they beat Lovejoy, they will be favored over the Region 1 champion, whether it's Frisco Emerson or whether it's Colleyville Heritage. They'll be favored in that one. Tomorrow's the big game for a South Oak Cliff P&G rematch would be if Sauk can find a way past Lovejoy.
Yep.
Next.
Let's go with where to go. If Abilene knocks off Aledo, do they become the new favorite to win the title?
I mean, I guess to beat the man, you got to beat the man, right? I mean, 5AD1 has a chance to get real weird, right? If Aledo or if Abilene pulls the stunner and knocks off Aledo, then they took the crown, right? So they got to be the team to beat. But coming out of Region 2, they could see Lancaster or Forney, who are both very dangerous.
Cooking.
Both are cooking. And then in a title game, they could see Smithson Valley or A&M Consolidated, or they could see
Man.
a team like Corpus Christi Miller or Brownsville Vets. So
Abilene and Smithson Valley would be hard-hitting football.
if,
That would be a
if
blast.
it would be old school. If Aledo loses, then we lose, in my opinion, the most prohibitive favorite for a state champion. Like Aledo has looked the part of the team to beat in 581.
I've only seen them struggle with Denton Ryan
Yeah.
that one game.
Yeah.
Other than that, they've been a juggernaut.
Yeah,
Per usual.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens tonight against Abilene. What's next, Pickle?
Lorena and Franklin.
Yeah, I mean,
Banger.
it's a rematch, 51-48, first time around. Franklin, Lorena snapped Franklin's long losing streak. Lorena is the hottest team in Texas, plain and simple. Knocking off Columbus last week the way they did, they fall down 14-0. They rattle off 42 straight to win that ball game. Just wildly impressive. They're healthy. Like Jaden Porter's back and doing Jaden Porter things, but Braylon Henry, their running back, broke his dad's record for rushing touchdowns at Lorena.
Oh man,
He's been a freak show for them. For Franklin, like they've proven they can move the ball in this Lorena defense. They hung 48 points on them. They got to go out there and find some answers defensively. That's the question for them. Now their defense has been playing really well of late. I'm doing the same thing I did with Hawley, right? The Hawley Stratford game. I'm going with the champs. To me, in a close game like that, I'm gonna default to the champs, but that's a coin flip game, and it's one of the games of the week I'm really excited about.
big time revenge game.
Oh yeah, you got a real revenge game factor in it, and for Franklin, a team that none of us dorks picked them to win their own region,
Yeah.
and now they're 3 wins away from a state championship.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
and by the way, 2 wins away from a 4th straight title game. Let's put some respect on the Franklin name.
This
What's next?
leads into this, and I've got 2 more non-football questions after that came in. I've heard it repeated several times, but how hard is it to beat a good team twice? What was the record in rematches last year? Do we have that by chance? I don't know if we have that, but
That'd be a great.
Let's see.
stat if
Step
we
had
had
it. Here we go. Ready? In 2022 playoffs, there were 21 rematches, and 16 of them were a sweep, which means that if you lost the first time, you went 5-16 in the rematches, right? So, and there have been 8 come before last night. There were 8 rematches. There have been 8 rematches. 5 of them resulted in a sweep. So, generally speaking, it's not that hard to beat a good team twice.
It's a psychological hump for the
It
losing
is.
team.
Exactly right. It's a psychological hump. I would agree.
But if you're a wagon, then it's a revenge game.
That's exactly right.
I feel like it would be harder to beat a good team twice in the early rounds than in the later rounds. Because at that point,
I would
you
agree.
know you're proven. You haven't seen them in a while. It's like, you know what? We've already done this.
That's-
We're 1 game away from playing in a state semifinal.
So here's one
Let's
thing
do
that's-
that. If we meet again in the bye district, you wouldn't. But if you meet again in the area round, I feel like that's more of a psychological trip.
Because here's something that's interesting to me. Take Piper and Liberty Hill, okay? This is a rematch that's going on tonight. Piper won at 33-23, I think, the first time around. It was a 10-point win. And I think with the scheme that Liberty Hill runs with that kind of wild-ass slot T, right, seeing them twice in a month is I think, an advantage for Piper. You know what I mean? They've seen it. They're familiar with it. Like one of the things, go back to 2021 when South Oak Cliff go to the title game against Liberty Hill. Our whole question is like South Oak Cliff is faster, South Oak Cliff is bigger, South Oak Cliff is stronger, all these things. But the scheme is such a weapon for Liberty Hill. And can the fact that you're seeing them twice in a month neutralize that advantage? That's the question. All right, 2 more.
Oh goodness, where did it go? What's your go-to food during state games? The mac and cheese.
Oh, shout out the mac and cheese.
Bray, have you
I
had
have
the AT&T Stadium mac and cheese?
No, this is baby's first state.
Baby's first state. So we'll
A lot
get
of
you-
first year for Bray.
We'll get you some Super Bowl nachos.
Oh,
I just don't eat a lot. Like I'm a scrounger. I end up
You're
what I-
that in life, though.
What I end up doing, I'm a snacker. What I end up doing is like, I'll be somewhere and it'll hit my monkey brain and go, "You're hungry." I'm like, "Where's food?" Like, and then whatever's nearby. So I don't really have to me, there's a couple spots I go to, but as far as during state,
If I know we're getting one of the dinners that has the mac and cheese in it, that's
Bingo
it.
bango.
It's so good.
That's exactly
Prepare yourself.
I'm a hot dog guy.
we can hook you up with some hot dogs.
Yeah.
All right, and finally,
What is one activity that takes up too much of your time that you would eliminate if you could? Working.
sleeping.
I've thought about this too. I hate sleeping. I mean, you need it. You think about the fact that we spend
Yeah.
a third of our life asleep
yeah.
when we could be grinding.
We could be out here grinding.
Oh my God.
We could be grinding.
And this, folks,
Well
is
said.
why we call him
Well said, Bray.
Braylon.
Well said, Bray. Something that takes up a lot of my time. I mean, I am of the opinion, like driving. Like, I like to drive, but at the same time, if they could figure out the stinking self-driving cars, I'd let them. You know, I'd be like, Jesus, take the wheel. You know what I mean? Because I'd rather be like doing work or something like that, or like.
Mine's social media for sure.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
the aimless scrolling on Twitter and Instagram. I always tell myself I'm going to be better today.
Yeah.
And then I
guess what?
somehow mess it up again.
We're not better today.
Mine's manually having to put things into Excel sheets.
Yeah, like data scraping.
I spend 90% of my life putting stuff into Excel sheets, and there are certain times where that's perfectly fine because I need it to be manual so I can like make sure everything is right how it's supposed to be. But there are a couple things that would be made a lot easier if I just had like a website on the back end that went do. Here's your results. Excel and I have a love-hate relationship.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbells. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Pickle, you want to tell them what to watch tonight?
Yeah, 6 o'clock on TexanLive.com. Go tune in to Cedar Hill and DeSoto. Mallory Hartley, Ishmael Johnson, and Nick Laupius will be bringing you full pregame coverage, halftime coverage, and postgame coverage of DeSoto and Cedar Hill, the rematch.
Where are you going this week?
Scotown.
I am going to the Scotown tonight, going to the Star for
Scotown.
Frisco Emerson versus Colleyville Heritage. I'm pumped for it.
Saturday night on Bally Sports, it's South Lake Carroll versus Byron Nelson. I'll be on halftimes and then scoreboard after that. So that's going to do it for us. I said all those things. Vince Young, please be your Player of the Year trophy. One last thing to do, Braylon, and that is to roll out the final Week 14 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, in conjunction with the TaxAct Texas Bowl, is proud to present the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week Award to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Each Monday, TexasFootball.com announces 10 candidates for that week's award based on the previous week's on-field performance. Fans then decide the winner by voting on TexasFootball.com. Congratulations to this week's winner of the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week Award. For more information, visit TexasFootball.com.